You're invited to this online healing retreat, connecting to an ascension with the physical body, with intuitive healer Mona Delfino. This is an informative retreat that will help you understand the messages of the body.
The messages from the body are relating you to your soul. The body is always the last to know what the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual side of you has created, because your physical body is the creation that you gave it, because all of the cells in your body are experiencing what you have learned and what you are doing in the process of living today. So your mental emotions, all the things that happen within you, that's called the as above. The so below is the physical body. And so your physical form is actually explaining to you what can change or what can get stronger or what can be identified from your past going into your future. A lot of times when you think about it, the knees are about support. The low back is about support. The ankles are about the flexibility of the direction that you're going. Your legs are about the direction, etc., etc. And in this talk that we're going to have, we're actually going to share this information with you one step at a time so that you can understand what is going on in your body and how you can look at the language of it. It's going to make a huge difference for you to be able to identify on a mental or an emotional level what is occurring within you, at least to the extent that you can start to figure it out on your own. When your hips go out, what's the first thing we do? We don't feel comfortable. Maybe our tailbone feels a little bit sore, or we know that we can't walk the same way we did before because it just doesn't feel right. And we know that one leg is a little higher than the other one. Now, if this is not a normal thing for you and that your hip goes out, you know that usually we'll go see a chiropractor and we go take care of ourselves the best way that we can. Well, I'm going to give you some tips on what you can do in a muscle test to put your hips back in place for yourself energetically, number one. But number two, I'm going to explain to you what's going on with the hips. So the left side is your receiver. The hips are always about what direction are you getting ready to go in. It's almost like the little detector. It's the lighthouse. It's telling you, let's see, where am I going to go? Let's see, to the left, to the right, that kind of thing. The hips are in charge of your direction. The legs are the physical manifestation of that direction. So everything that stems out of balance comes from the hips. If your hips are out of balance, it's pretty hard for you to know exactly where you're going to go. Let me tell you why. Because on an emotional level, the left side of the hip, when this goes up, then if it's higher than the right side, then it's a way of saying, I'm not going to receive any more stresses. I'm done. I'm finished. I don't want to take on anymore. See, so emotionally what's happening is the left side is saying, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to have to keep receiving things that don't make sense to me, okay, or I'm done. And in the right side can do the same thing. It can lift up higher, and the left side can be down. If your right side is higher in your hip, then it's an indication that you're done giving the way that you've always given. And many, many people are going through that today. So their physical body is experiencing the strength that you are inside of you is saying, I'm not doing it the same way. And so your right hip might go up and say, oh, well, I'm done with that. It can even be defensive. So if you find yourself being defensive in a situation, more than likely your hip is out. And that's how you can connect the two, you see. And so the body's language is going to help you to identify more of where you're coming from in your world and how you feel about something coming up for you. If you don't want to go do something, don't do it, you know, and start obliging your spirit and say, I don't want that, so I'm not really going to go do that. I'm going to say no for dinner tonight, but thank you. See? And when you start becoming stronger within your own confident role, then your body's going to feel better about taking on a new position, and it will recognize you as being stronger, and then you don't have to go out of whack. It is not at random that your hips go out, or it's not at random that something happens in your physical body. Everything has a purpose, and in this talk we're going to do more of that identification. So we can actually make things happen for ourselves before it has to be explained to us through our physical body. what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and scan the body in the sense of when the listener is listening, then I'm going to go ahead and do a scan of the physical body. And therefore, you close your eyes, and we'll take you through from head to toe about what the body's language is, where it's at, what's going on inside of it, what are the possibilities. And then after the explanation, and we give you about how the body wants to tell you the truth, the body never lies. It doesn't know how. And so that's why it has to readjust to what you're trying to give it. If you understand the alignment of your soul and your real spirit and saying no and saying yes when you really want to, being truthful and honest with yourself, then the physical body doesn't have to go out of whack. And so we'll scan the body, go from head to toe, and discuss everything about what's going on in the shoulders and the fingers and the elbows. What does it all mean? So we'll have a lot of fun with this, and we'll go in and you'll be able to look at it and say, oh, no wonder. It happens every time. Whenever I do a talk in public, then I have people raise their hand, and every single time that I have them look at something that they're finding a complaint about in their physical body, they go, well, that makes sense. So here's another one for you, headaches. Headaches are because we are not making decisions. We know that there's a decision to make, but we don't know what to do. We don't know how to make that decision. So sometimes our heads hurt because it's trying to make us make a decision. And the migraine headache is actually the daddy to a headache. So it's the big one. It's the one that says, hey, you know what decision to make, you're just not making it. Right now, it's important that people learn this information, number one, so we can stay healthy and we can become stronger without thinking that we're a victim. Number one. Number two, the reason we want to become stronger and we want to identify what we really feel inside, the confidence that we have, without feeling angry and without feeling all of these emotions that we've carried. But then you take back your responsibility, and therefore you take back your power. In our world today, we need to take back our power individually so that we can learn to understand each other, get along better, have a unified family, and in turn, the big picture is we will become the magnetic field to the earth. Eventually, we are one right now with the earth and with the magnetic field. And so right now with the solar flares getting stronger, as we become more confident within ourselves, our magnetic field, which is called an aura, which that is huge within us, and the more truthful we are, the bigger our aura. That's why we have to do this, so that we can understand how to live better, how to feel better, how to connect better, and how to be more compassionate with each other. I would recommend that anybody that's willing to understand this kind of health to tune in to this talk. It's going to be an amazing amount of information in a very short period of time that will help you to identify for yourself or for somebody else or even for your pets how to work with your own intuition and your knowledge and everything that you can give your power back to without thinking that you don't know how, because you do know how. It's innately built within you. We're birthed with it. So I'm going to show you and teach you how to connect with it so that you don't feel like you're being lost or left in the dark.
Register now for this online healing retreat with Mona Delfino, Connection to and Ascension with the Physical Body.